So with more and more states legalizing marijuana, some saw last year as a chance to hop in and invest. Now that didn't necessarily pay off in all cases, but perhaps is that something you should consider in the future? Todd Finn is checking it out for us with today's Farmers Trust Financial Report. Todd, good to see you as always.
Good to see you. Good morning.
Good morning to you. So first off, I didn't even know that marijuana stocks or investing in this was a thing.
Yeah, it has been a thing for a couple of years, and it's had fits and starts, obviously, because it is a frontier market. Most parts of the world, it's still not legalized. So it's been around for a little while, but there's been fits and starts, and now it's something that people are excited about and talking about again.
So is there, I assume there's an element of risk anytime you're talking about investing in just about anything, but is this particularly risky?
It's different because it's a frontier market, and of course, when you're investing in marijuana as a U.S. investor, there's legislative risk, right? We know that the potential market for marijuana is very large, but the potential market can only be truly unlocked if at some point we have a more widespread legalization. We have obviously certain states have legalized it both for medical and for recreational use. If it were to be blanketly made legal, of course the market could be potentially massive, as it is in Canada and parts of the world where it has been legalized. But that's a legislative risk. We don't know if the legislators at the state and federal level are going to go through with that, and if they do, when they're going to go through with that.
Has there been a lot of volatility with this market?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there was last year was a terrible year for the entire industry. The prior year in 2019 was a very good year. So there have been very good quarters, very good months, and then very bad years, which you're going to have in a frontier market, because a lot of this is going to be ebbing and flowing based on what parts of the world are legalizing and whether it looks like there's legislative resistance. I would say in the United States, we probably stand a better chance for legalization under the current administration than we did under the prior administration, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. So how, if anybody wants to try and invest in this, how do they even get involved?
Well, there's three ways you can really do it. The first is to buy the growth stocks directly, and most of these many of these stocks are non-U.S. companies. Kronos Group, Canopy Group. There's tons and tons of growers out there that are, and I would say the vast majority of them are Canadian stocks, trade on the Canadian exchange, but you can buy them in the U.S. That's the first way. The second way would be, there has been a lot of interest from large Fortune 500 companies in this industry. Molson Coors, for example, Constellation Brands, Altria. These are companies that have all made very large investments in the marijuana industry. So buying those stocks would give you exposure to that without being specifically related only to marijuana. And then the third would be to buy an exchange traded fund. If you couldn't decide, and you probably didn't want to make a bet on one individual marijuana stock, you could buy a basket of them through an exchange traded fund, and you'd really limit your risk in that way.
Is this a case of, possibly, depending on how legislation goes and everything, where you take a big risk, but it could be a big reward potentially?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's really difficult to know for certain how big the market really is. I mean, we know it's large. I think everybody knows it's potentially very, very large, but it's hard to know because we've never had blanket legalization. So you don't know how many people would be participants in that market if it were actually legal to recreationally use marijuana. We have to assume that it's huge because we've seen how large it is in the states where it has been legalized. So nationally, yes, the potential market is very, very large.
Really interesting. Very cool topic for you this morning, Todd. Thank you very much, and good to see you. Enjoy your week, okay?
You too. Thanks for having me on. Good morning to everybody out there.
Well, and good morning right back to you. All right, if you want to have any talk to anybody at the Farmers Trust Company, there's the number on your screen right there. If you have any segment ideas for us in the future, shoot them our way. farmers@wfmj.com is the email address for that. All right, weather-wise, we've been preparing for this day for a while now, Emily, and it is officially here.